Hey folks, welcome to Grenade Mentality Works again, and this is my Ford 1220, and I got a 3-point hitch on it. There's a couple issues with the 3-point hitch. One, it leaks, and two, it drifts down. Now, won't say a whole lot about prior owners taking care of it or anything like that, because the gentleman had one hand and he did a great job for having one hand. That's just how I'm going to say it. But it did need a little bit of extra work. Someone, I don't know who, has cranked down on the downflow, the release pressure valve that's in it. It allows or adjusts the speed at which the hydraulics will drift back down after you've lowered the attachment for the 3-point hitch. Unfortunately, it means I got to take the whole top end off the lifting unit here. It'll split from here up, and that's going to be at least 1, 2, maybe 3 videos, depending upon if you want the short version or the long version. I'm not going to do fast forward. I got that program to do the fast forward, but I think it, my camera doesn't do that really, or time lapse. I could do that for you, but I'm just going to go ahead and do as life really is and see how you guys like that. And here it is. Anyhow, I got this 3-point hitch adapter to be able to put a trailer ball on it. And this comes from 7blacksmiths.com. I'm not endorsing them or anything. I'm just telling you where it came from. I bought it on Amazon. I didn't even look at who sold it. And it's come in a rather disheveled state. The rods poked through on the corners. This busted through on the top. And I'm just going to cut across here, hopefully, if it will. This razor blade is so dull, it won't hardly do that. Well, we'll just say this is like Chinese cardboard. Very flimsy cardboard. I can just pull it right on out. Okay. Well, that's all cardboard. Not a lot of packaging with it. Okay, they had a pad here. Take that off. And normally I like to watch how I take off zip ties, because if you take it off right, you're able to reuse that. So I could reuse it for something that size. Who knows? Little things add up, folks. They really do. Little things add up. And it would be very easy to throw them away, but I'm going to need a couple of zip ties, I know, for a couple other projects, and wiring harness, and if I can reuse those, that'll save me the cost of 3. Now there are the studs. These studs go in here, and what they do is help me while I tear some tough cardboard. Okay, 1, 2, there, 1 here, and yes, all the pieces were here. I got 2 lock washers, 2 nuts, and 2 studs. These studs should fit. Alright, perfect. Now this is a category 1 hitch. Yeah, category 1. It is not a real big heavy. It's still good for plowing and tilling and doing all kinds of things with it, like the great big tractors do, just in a smaller scale. I think this one has a 48 or 50 inch wide tiller that goes with it. You could go to a 6-foot tiller or a 5-foot tiller, 60 inch, but it's not really horsepower rated. That wide of a tiller would require a lot more horsepower, like double the horsepower of what I got. This is only 17 horse, but it's a diesel, so it's got a lot of torque. And, well, I don't think it would have enough mustard to get the thing done. I don't think it'd run it. So anyhow, these studs will go in here, lock washer, and a nut to the inside. I could do this, see it this way. Hold the nut, spin the stud. And I hit a burr on it before it got tight, so this one will go in here. Lock washer. And before I go any further, I will get a wrench for that size nut. Okay, here I am. I have a made in the great big C word wrench. It's 32 millimeter. Fits this perfectly. So I'm not sure. It could be, well, it's got a little soft. It could be a SAE. Anyhow, we'll get this on. Get these nuts on, and I'm gonna find a pin for the top. Looks like it'd be a pretty large pin too. And I have the locking crescent wrench. I will go ahead and snap that thing on. And look at that, folks. That's pretty good, I think. I have to get this tightened down on it. So. Looks a little crooked right now, but yeah, you know, you really can't get them too tight because these are going to be on it forever. They're not supposed to come off. They just didn't put them on when they shipped it. And you're wondering why a lot of things are like that. They give you the fasteners. Well, they would have to pay someone to work at a workbench or something, set up a little work area for them, and they would have to pay them to do that. It's easier just for a real quick assembly line to throw all the stuff in a plastic bag, zip tie it to here, throw it in a box, it's gone. They saved probably 10 or 15 minutes per unit on assembly time, and time is money. Yep, time is money. So let me use the regular wrench for a few. Ooh. All right, and now I do have it so the holes are pretty much it, top to bottom. So whenever I drop in my pin and snap it over, it's going up and down, not sideways. Sideways has a better chance to fall out. Even if the spring will get knocked open, if it's coming in from the top, chances are that's going to sit there for a while. And this is backwards. This will go on this direction. And there's one. And there's the second. Now this top link will fit in here. And as you can see, I have to get a pin in and then adjust this up so this becomes fairly well level. So let me get the bolt, pin, whatever I got to get that in, and we'll go from there. Okay folks, I found something. I figure I can use this. It's a very hard bolt. It looks like it's at least a grade 8. So, and a aircraft nut. They call them aircraft nuts because they're smashed oblong on one side and round on the other so you can start it. Once it gets up to the threads, that sucker binds down. It does not want to let go again. So, they could be on a safety wire system. But, alright, washer. Oh, that does fit. That is the right size. Alright. See if this will hold together enough that I can get it adjusted. Oops, what am I doing? These are 15/16 wrenches, made in the USA, for those that care. Now that is good and tight. Now what I'll need to do is, you can't, boy, you could probably see that on that film, that how crooked this is. What I'll do is I'll adjust it. Oh, this needs some oil. Alright, another minute. Alright, I have some peanut butter blaster, which I will use as a preconditioner for the steel. Just to make it extra slippy. And also work down in the other thread. And then I have some, this is 30 weight high sulfur oil. And the reason why I'm using that is it sticks to gears very well and doesn't sling off as quick. And I use it on the giant hit or miss engine I have. This is, by the way, is your locking nut. It's just threaded on. You run it down to where it needs to be. And that will lock down on the tube. This will lock down on this tube and hold it in place so you don't lose your adjustment. Looks like this is going to adjust up all the way, pretty much. And that's kind of good because the more of these threads you keep covered, the better. And we'll just call that good. Alright, so I need pins. On a 3-point hitch, you always find these little rings. What are those rings for? What we always did was we kept an extra pin in it. Oh, darn. Alright, those pins don't work. I'm sure this one don't fit either. Now I gotta go to my box of pins, find a couple of them that'll work. I'll take one with me. I'll be right back again. Okay, went in, rummaged through the nuts and bolts. This is a 3/8 Lynch pin, L-I-N-C-H, Lynch pin. And these will work. Okay, so I got a bolt and a nut. Bolt and a nut. That will hold it from sliding off. And really the linchpin is just a super quick way how to put in a bolt, not require a nut, because the spring snaps down around the pin and holds it in place. Otherwise you'd have to use a nut and a bolt. And I got nylock nuts, I got regular nuts, I got lock washers, all kinds of things of that nature, but I'm just going to put a nut and a bolt on this for temporary measure. I will have to find my pins. I bought a bunch of pins. I guess you can't hear me here, but I bought a bunch of pins and then proceeded to set them down where I can't find them again. So we'll eventually I'll run across them and I'll get a couple of pins out here on it. Now, why have I got this on whenever I have this? The reason why I put this on is because this will have a ball on a little receiver or just a plate on the receiver. And with the plate on the receiver, I'll be able to raise or lower to match up whatever engine I'm going to be pulling, like my big engine, or come underneath the trailer hitch and raise up to pick up on it, flip down the latch, and I can just off I go with it. I don't have to crank it up and down that way. That's why I put this on. Also, I need a little gantry crane, jib crane, tripod crane, whatever. And what I figure I would do is I would make it so one of the arms of the crane on the feet would go into this, be able to pin it into place. Another slide plate with a square piece of stock would slide down in there and hold it in place, so I could pick that crane up and take it wherever with this. And I haven't seen anyone work that out yet, but it seems like it's fairly simple and I ought to be able to do it. So we'll see how it goes. If I ought to be able to do it, and it's a very simple system, I'll find a way to model it. And not get it right the first time or second time, but I'll keep plugging away. Maybe I'll have a little crane that I can set over top of one of the little tractors, be able to pick the engine up and put it in easier than what I did with the last one, which was by muscle. I'm too old for that. Alright folks, there it is. That looks rather hefty. That's very good. This is 1/8 inch, easy 1/8 inch. These are 3/8 plates. This is a 1/4 inch wall here down there. You can't see what the inside of this is, but I would say, judging by, saying they would use the same piece as this, that'd be 1/8 inch. A couple of gussets on it. Alright, well, figuring everything. Oh yeah, and these base plates are 3/8 of an inch. These are 7/8 pins, I think. They're good over a 1/4, so, or 3/4, so 7/8 we'll call it. I think 7/8 is a category 1 pin. I think that'll work out rather well. It's got a lot of play in it, back and forth. Might be a pain in the butt trying to back up a trailer with that much slop in it. We'll find out. And let's go ahead and fire up the tractor and see what it looks like whenever it raises up. I think you'll see what I mean by the hitch drifting down. There it is. And I guess we're going to have to do some of this. Wow. I got tight real quick. There. Wherever I plan on carrying this, I guess that would be a little bit better to have it like that. So that's how we're going to set it up. Bring that up, a little tap, it's locked in place. Okay, that's it. And you know, as the sun sinks slowly into the east or west, depends on which way you're filming. Before I sign off, I'll tell you, there's a couple of films where they were filming in New York. Wanted everybody to believe that it was the West Coast. They had a Pacific Bell telephone booth. I know it sounds kind of strange, you don't see those anymore, but they had a telephone booth with Pacific Bell on it, and you could see up the block where it had Ma Bell Eastern half on the next one. And then they had a sunset over the water, and the sun was rising, not setting, so they ran the film in reverse, and you could see birds flying backwards in the background. So as the sun sinks slowly in the east, you can see what my problem about the drift is. And I'll give this thing like 5 stars. That's really a nice hitch. If it fits a receiver, and by all means it should. I think that's going to be an excellent little add-on to the tractor and give me a whole lot more versatility with it. I'll be able to move whatever trailer I need to, whatever machine I need to. I hook up that little boom crane or jib crane on it, whatever. That's going to be spectacular, because that'll mean this whole thing turns into a crane, like it would be a backhoe, but without all the extra expense. Hope you all had fun. I certainly did. Let's try and have another adventure sometime soon. I'm losing light here, so it's going to be the end of my filming for probably this weekend, even though it's a holiday. I'm kind of hoping to get another day of filming in and getting some of this stuff posted for you. And like I say, I apologize for not getting things out as quick as I should. But it's been awful hard to try and use a computer. And I've just been able to barely get through at work. We go tally-ho, and please, folks, look, now, this is Labor Day weekend here in America, and you really do work all year and put in a lot of overtime, most of you. You ought to go ahead and just enjoy outside, get some fresh air, forget about being cooped up in a factory or in a building somewhere. Get out there and enjoy life. Find out what wildlife really is. I think if you do, you're going to become a conservator, probably a hunter. And hunters are the best conservators, believe me. If it wasn't for hunters and their clubs, we'd be missing a lot of animals. All right, tally-ho and off we go. Let's go have some fun.